set in this world of reality TV competition where all the contestants have to be non-binary or gender non-conforming, and they have to compete for popularity and get voted out of the show. And my character is the first person to get voted out because she's probably about 20 years older than the other contestants and doesn't look gender non-conforming, doesn't look non-binary, looks like a cisgender woman. So the piece I was aiming to get at there is how there's a kind of new idea emerging that people who are non-binary or gender non-conforming should look a particular way.
Yeah.
So if you are claiming that you're not a man or not a woman, but you look like a man or a woman, you're somehow some kind of faker, you're trying to get your woke points or whatever else, right? And I don't accept that. I don't accept that at all, because the fundamental proposition is that if there's no relationship between your identity and what you look like, then how can we be saying you don't look non-conformist enough, therefore your identity, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't hold up to scrutiny. So that's what that piece was exploring, and we had a fantastic run at the festival. The audiences were so great, so encouraging. They responded to it really, really well. I was so happy with how that run went. And it's a really funny play, right? Because it's in the world of looking at how awful reality TV is and how we feel about other people's perceptions of us and the pressure that we're all under, whether we're gender non-conforming or cisgender or whatever we are, we're all under pressure to look a certain way. We all get feedback from people about how we look and who we are that we never asked for, right?
Yes.
It happens to all of us. So it's really diving into all of those things. And I'm going to bring it back. It's going on a little tour this year. It's going...
Oh, that's good news. So where can people watch it?
It'll be at the Brighton Fringe in the UK. Then it will be at the King's Head Theatre in London. And then I'm bringing it to Outhouse in Dublin in the middle of July. I think it's either the 13th or 14th of July. It's around Non-Binary Visibility Day. It's an event for that. So I'm going to do 2 performances in Dublin because a lot of people told me they would have loved to see it when it was on in the Gay Theatre Festival, and they didn't get a chance during that week. So I'm doing these 2 performances so everyone can catch up, and I hope they were all telling me the truth because I've hired the venue now.
Yeah. I know the feeling that people are saying, I'm going to be there for the show or for the reading, and then maybe 20% are there. Yeah. I know the feeling. But look, I'm going to try to support you by putting the links in the description below.
Marvelous.
Everything you have,
Yeah.
please share after.
I will.
I'm more than happy to add the links and make sure that you get like a big audience, because I think you deserve. So I will do everything I can from my end. There is also a dissonance between. I'm pretty confident you don't get offended with that, between your name and your accent, which I find very interesting. I actually, my first guest, just a short story, he grew up in Ireland and he's Belgium. So his name is obviously not French, but Dutch, because he's from the northern part of the country.
Right. Yes.
They speak Dutch, but he has a very strong Dublin accent. So it's always funny, when he talks to others and he has to introduce himself.
Yeah.
How is that for you?
I don't think people know quite what to make of me, for sure, or what my or where to place me. I think this. I mean, I have the accent I have because I grew up in London, but both of my parents were kind of migrants to London in one way or another. I have one Irish parent and one parent who's of kind of Polish descent. And yeah, you'd never guess that. Never guessed that from my accent. And I have all sorts of fun encounters here since I've been living in Dublin, of people not grasping that I'm an Irish citizen. But there you go. It's a funny thing, and Skolimowski is difficult for people to say and to pronounce. So I could have probably picked something a bit more stage friendly for.
Do you think our name interferes in the development of our personality and the things we chase in life. Is there any influence?
I don't know. You hear some very funny stories about nominative determinism and how people pick jobs or things that are directly related to their surnames, don't you? But I don't personally know anyone who's gone down that path. I don't know if it impacts you, but of course it's another one of these things that impacts other people's perception, isn't it? And people love, I guess, people love to try and deduce who you are from what your name is. And maybe I'm confounding for people because there doesn't seem to be any, there's no relationship.
I think in most cases there's no real impact because people just have a name and that's it. But I believe in certain cases it will have a repercussion in how you perceive yourself and what can you do, as a human being. Like I remember when I lived in Budapest, I dated a Hungarian girl called Vera. Okay, so Vera, from the if you look at from a Latin perspective, how the name was created, is the person who is looking after justice and truth, and she ended up being a lawyer, and she always said it was a relation to her name. You might say it's a coincidence, but I think in certain cases it's not.
Yes.
So
sometimes people really internalize that, don't they?
It's pretty to say, or it looks cool, but I believe in certain cases it's there. So like in case of mine, there is an alliteration between my first and last name. It's something catchy. That's V and V. Now I could have ended up being someone who wants to be on the shadow, is not interested in being on the spot. I'm not that guy, as everyone knows. But there would be a reaction. So you don't necessarily need to pursue what you are meant to be. You can also use that as a reason to be the opposite, especially if you are the rebel type, as some people are. I'm not talking about myself, or maybe I am. So, when you are told to be X and you decide to be Z just for the sake of not embodying what they want to be.
Not meeting expectations.
Yes. There's something tasty about it, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I think so. Gosh, what would you do? Would you go towards it or go against it? I'll never know. I don't know what my name means.
I think what is interesting about it is it can be a trap, because if you end up, let's say they wanted to be, let's just use cover just to make it simple. They wanted to be white, and then you say you are black or other. There's something related to race. I'm just using that as an example, and but in the end it's a trap, because you are still being influenced by the message you were given. Why I'm not just whatever you are? I think we shouldn't care too much about labels. Just trying to be our best selves, and it's not a simple mission, but it's probably the most noble one.
You're absolutely right. Yes, I think this is true. That's one of the themes that comes through in Looking Cis, I think, about how labels they're not useful if you're kind of molding yourself to fit a label instead of picking one that describes you as you actually are. And that's something people fall into quite easily, I think. Especially now, this is going back, we're going in the circle of it all, because it's going back to the kind of online culture of how if you have social media, you are under pressure to have some kind of congruent personal brand.
Yes.
And all your pics on your Instagram should be about the same thing and have the same aesthetic, and you got to say who you are in a 100-word bio. I mean, I can't keep up with it myself.
And you are absolutely right. And I think everyone now is given like a task or have to be a brand.
Yes.
Now, I'm not here like endorsing normality, but sometimes it's missed. Like, why are you not just a person who is baking the bread and smiling to your neighbor and making people happy when they talk to you?
Yes.
So why you need to have some role in society. Not everyone is meant to be Churchill or Einstein, and that's just fine. But yes, the online world really instigates that behavior. That what are you here for? And it's also very common, like in let's say in those jobs, like let's say corporate jobs, that they try to paint them as it's something with an impact on society. Now,
Yes.
I'm not like sorry for my word. I'm not like shitting in corporate jobs. I think they have a space. They are necessary.
Yes.
But they don't need to be juicy like other things. Actually, the beauty of those jobs is that they are gray, so they don't create much noise. So they are they are underneath, adding their value, and that's all that they do. And hats off for that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. There's that trend towards people in the corporate world having a job title that has totally obfuscates what they do. You'd never be able to guess. Chief visionary, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Architecture-eneer, I think, is one I've seen. I don't. Yeah.
What do you actually in the air?
And all jobs, all of those jobs, just kind of involve sending emails and making PowerPoints, don't they? In my personal experience of being in the corporate world, it all comes down to email and PowerPoint, and that should be your job title. I make PowerPointer.
Yeah.
No, I've gone too far the other way now. But yes, there's a lot of there's pressure. People are under pressure to make everything kind of exciting and engaging and hook people in. And
you cannot just have a job and a family and go on a holiday to Tenerife.